Let me be completely honest, I'm not a big fan of superhero movies. Like, yeah, they're usually fun to watch, but people always seem to hype them up like they're mankind's greatest form of entertainment ever, when in reality, they're usually pretty similar. Despite me not loving superhero movies as much as most, Into the Spider-Verse still looked interesting when it was announced. Nowadays, most of the Marvel movies you can kinda predict what'll happen with the general formula, but something about this was different, and that's in a good way too. When I walked out of the theater, I was honestly shocked at how amazing Into the Spider-Verse was. I'd easily call it the #1 animated movie of 2018, and today let's explain exactly why. Also, don't worry, there's not going to be any spoilers in this video since I'll be using the various clips shown from trailers you may have already seen. We start off with Peter Parker, you all know his story and how he became Spider-Man and blah blah blah. It's common knowledge by this point. But the movie knows that. Instead of just going the same exact route of Spider-Man coming to the rescue and the day being saved, Into the Spider-Verse immediately switches gears to a storyline most people probably weren't expecting when they sat down to watch a superhero movie. It surrounds Miles Morales, just a normal kid who gets bit by a spider and then gains special abilities to shoot webs and stick to surfaces, and you already know how that goes. But the key difference here involves multiple universes, and this is stressed pretty early on in the film too. I'm not gonna spoil exactly what happens, but the whole multiverse thing is incredibly significant to the storyline. Even just knowing the bare minimum about the plot, it's easy to tell that this differentiates itself from the countless other Spider-Man pieces of media we've gotten. Instead of simply saving the day, the whole multiple universe twist is spun onto the franchise, giving it a completely new identity and somehow making an all too familiar character feel fresh again. As the movie continues, we get to learn more about these parallel universes that have combined into one with various different spider people. They team up and everything about it is amazing. There's literally an anime Spider-Girl. How can you not love this? But there's one obvious thing about Into the Spider-Verse that already makes it incredibly unique, and it's probably what initially drew the most people in: the style. Like it or hate it, this isn't an animation style you see in most movies nowadays, and that's because it's much harder to actually achieve. Most big studios will end up going the cheap route and just produce another classic CGI animated movie with very few changes to the expected style, and while that's not necessarily bad, it would still be nice to see a movie step outside the box into a whole new realm. Spider-Verse easily achieves that by having the weird but incredible comic book style, where sometimes it seems like the frames are moving slowly, and then other times it's a complete and beautiful, fast-paced acid trip. It may take getting used to this at the beginning, but as the movie progresses, everything about it looks so visually pleasing. There's also more than a few action scenes, particularly in the second half, that I really want to watch again just because of the absolutely breathtaking aesthetic. You don't normally see this sort of thing in modern animated movies, but stepping outside the norm led to Sony Pictures Animation creating a visual masterpiece. Bonus points because it accurately reflects on the source material of comics, even having little words of sound effects when characters jump around or do stuff. At this point, you'd probably realize that I haven't been talking too much about the actual story or characters of Into the Spider-Verse, and that's intentional. If you haven't already, I want you to see this without too many spoilers because that's probably the best way to appreciate it. Miles is a great main character, and his relationships with family members ultimately drive the story. There are twists and turns, emotional moments that really take you on a field trip, and it's genuinely a thrill ride from start to finish. Into the Spider-Verse is a special kind of animated movie because it's not only just a really entertaining story, but it puts a twist on a classic overdone franchise that could have used a breath of fresh air. If you're not a huge fan of superhero movies, I understand, but if you truly enjoy the medium of animation and how it all works, then please do yourself a favor and watch this. It's not a movie for superhero fans, it's a movie for everyone. It's a celebration of what animated features can be, and even though we live in a time where a bunch of different movies are cheap cash grabs with just about no effort put into them, looking at you, Illumination, I'm just glad that we can still get amazing movies like this multi-dimensional Spidey tale. Sony Pictures Animation is the team behind the Emoji Movie, and they somehow managed to put out one of the best animated films in years. Alright, I see you, Sony. The Emoji Movie is absolutely trash, but I'm accepting Into the Spider-Verse as their apology. And now I'm hyped for the sequel, which, by the way, is already in development. Let's go! But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.